Woo! What's up, everybody? It's your main man Bennett back here and again, and welcome back to the Nacho Mama's Fantasy Football League Volume 6. Got ourselves Week 15 Power Rankings and the Year-End Awards Ceremony. So, without further ado, Sasai. Okay, we made it. We made it all the way to the end, folks. All the way to the tippy top of the mountain or the bottom of the ravine, depending on how the trajectory of your hopes and dreams played out. Before we get into the actual rankings, the final rankings of yours truly for y'all's, the top 12, with the baby giggles in the back, let's go through some awards. I think we'll pass out the awards first, shall we? So we'll start with the team with the biggest margin of victory. Biggest margin of victory in this season went to the Ghost of Bongtown. That's right, the Ghost of Bongtown. They had the biggest margin of victory in Week 13, outscoring their opponent, Team Diaper Funds, by a margin of 100.74 points. Round of applause for Andrew for doing that. We will then go to the smallest margin of victory, and the smallest margin of victory was Grand Salami Time, Katie's team, against Ghost of Bongtown in Week 6, where Katie narrowly won by a margin of 0.28 points. Well done, Katie. That was a close call there. We can then move a little quicker through these. My intention is that this be a short video. You know me. I'm not good at that. So we'll go to the most points scored all year. We give it to Master Cook, of course, with 1,868 points. Bam. No wonder he's in the fantasy playoffs. We'll move on to the most weeks outscoring the league, and it's Master Cook. Weeks 9, 14, and 15. 3 weeks domination. We move on to the most points scored in a single week. And we give it to O-Side Veda-Go, also a playoff team. In Week 13, Darren got 177.5 points. That's a lot. Now we have the most points against, or an award I like to call the Mr. Unlucky Award. That had the worst matchups possible, and that goes to, unfortunately, the Fancy Lads. Whitney's team faced off against the toughest schedule, and it hurts. You know, you need that. You need a little bit of luck in your favor in this game, and he got the other side of that stick. And in that regard, the least points against, meaning Mr. Lucky. He had the most favorable matchups, and it goes to Sasai, the Ghost of Bongtown. That's right. He had the least points scored against him. So there you are. Finally, we have the most waiver wire transactions, and true to form, thank God, this award goes to none other than the Swift Brown Dicker. That's right. Swift Brown Dicker, can we hear it for Tanner? Let's go. Tanner with 60 transactions all year. Well done. We'll then also look at the least waiver transactions, and we give that to both Team Robs and Ghost of Bongtown, a shared award, as they both only had 5 transactions all season. Kind of wild. So let's get into these rankings. We're already 4 minutes in. I'm going to just be blasting through them until we get to the playoff matchups. So 12th place, we're going to give it to Dork. Dork comes in at 12th place. Randy finishes 4-11 this year in his inaugural season. Welcome to the club. Sorry it ended this way. I saw a lot of the moves that Randy was making, the players he was picking, and, I think that he just got a little unlucky, honestly. I think Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, these guys kind of disappointed, especially Eckler. Eckler should have been a top 5, top 10 guy. He finished 25th at running back. So happy holidays to Randy and your family, and, hope blessings come upon you. We're going to move upon to the 11th place team. 11th place team in these here rankings is the Fancy Lads. Fancy Lads, Mr. Unlucky, as we talked. Whitdo finishes with a 5-10 record. And he's unlucky because this guy, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, George Kittle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have that kind of firepower, and you would expect a more productive finish. I know we're both right there. Jahmyr Gibbs ended up being a high-end option, but it just took too long to kind of get going. Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, I don't know why. Yeah, that's a tough toss-up there. So, oh, you hear that? That's a baby. Better luck next year, Whitney. We appreciate you. Happy holidays. And the Fancy Lads will go back to their tea and crumpets for the new year, as it were. We're going to move on to the 10th place team. 10th place team in these here rankings, and it's some Moldy Biscuits. Moldy Biscuits, take a little sip of this Diet Coke. They got a rough time of it. I'll take that again. 10th place team goes to the Moldy Biscuits, and they've had a tough time of it. Mainly, what can we say? TJ Hawkinson did good. Dak Prescott did great. Ravens defense, second at the defensive position. But I look at Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, pretty disappointed in them overall. Hey, happy holidays, Michael. I love you, bro. See you soon. You can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. So we move on to the 9th place team. 9th place team in these year rankings, and it's grand salami time. That's right, it's Katie's team. And, tough matchups for Katie. I really hope Santa brings you everything you could possibly want. Anything that just comes to mind, that, this year for Christmas. I hope that him and his sleigh, if he don't do it, that Mark, your boyfriend, can do it. What do we got? Turns out our best performing player was, you could say Lamar Jackson. I'd say Cowboys defense. Hell, if anybody had Cowboys defense, that was a great piece to have all year. So see you soon. Take care of yourself. We're going to move on to the 8th place team. And the 8th place team in these rankings is Team Diaper Funds. Team Diaper Funds, been in the basement kind of all year. I'm glad that they were able to kind of crawl their way out to at least an 8th place finish here. Finishes with the win against Darren's team. Happy holidays, buddy. I know this isn't how you would have wanted it to go. But what are you going to do? Best player this season for Team Diaper Funds, I'll give it to Travis Kelce. Finished top 3 at the position. This is a team that lost some key players. I know that other teams did too, but that definitely had some issues along the way. So best of luck. Hi-ho, hi-ho. I hope the Vikings, what do you want? What do you expect? We'll move on to the 7th place team. 7th place team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lucky number. 7th place team, and it's Team Robs. Team Robs. Team Robs. Finishes 7 and 8. 7th place, right in the middle of it all. What can we say? Josh Allen was a great selection. Finished as the number 1 fantasy quarterback this season. What do you want? I'll give you a freaking medal for finishing 7th. What are we doing here? We'll move on to the 6th place team. I love you. See you soon. 6th place team in these year rankings is Swift Brown Dicker. Swift Brown Dicker finishes 7 and 8. Tough season for Tanner, the waiver wire master. Best player, got to give it to probably A.J. Brown. A little Tua mixed in there, but he was another, very unlucky player this season. Hey, Big T, bam. I wish you and your family nothing but the best. Till next time, right? Hey, we move on. We're going to move on to the 5th place team and the 5th place team in these here rankings, and it's Beta with Cheddar. I was pulling for Ben all year. I really was. He's a former champion. He knows how to play. Got nothing but positive things to say. He had great players. Sam Laporta was an excellent, smart pickup. Finished first at the tight end position, if you didn't believe me there. Rashad White. No one was picking up on Rashad White. Ben picked up on Rashad White. Ultimately, he put too much stock in the Patrick Mahomes vehicle. And although Mahomes finished 6th at the position, that's kind of a fool's gold. Because Mahomes had some really low games of, 6, 7, 8 points and just was ultimately better with Cheddar's undoing. So, happy holidays, Ben. Cheers to you. Better luck next year, my man, and we'll see you later. We're going to move on to the top 4 teams. These 4 teams are, of course, in the fantasy football playoffs. Thank you for sticking around. Cheers to you. So, 4th place team. And my top 4 was a little bit different than the ESPN top 4. Okay, because ESPN, can't control me, put me in a box. 4th place team, and it's Osan! Way to go, baby. Darren's team finishes 4th. We'll be in the playoffs, of course. Had some rocky weeks. So proud of Darren for coming on strong this last month. He's getting lucky, getting hot at the right time. Dolphins defense, Matt Stafford's back, Evan Ingram, Derrick Henry was trash at the beginning of the year. Now he's percolating. What can we say? I think that Darren, although of the top 4 teams, you're not going to say, oh, that's the go-to team in my mind for the playoffs here. But this team is actually one of the, if not the hottest teams over the last 6 to 7 weeks of the fantasy football year. So there you go. He will be facing off with the 1st seed, who is Master Cook. More on that later. We'll move on to the 3rd place team. And the 3rd place team in these rankings, and it's the Quinn Dynasty. The Quinn Dynasty is 3rd. The app says 2nd. It's a bunch of poppycock. Okay? 10-5 team is not above an 11-4 team. Not to me. What can we say? Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Hurts, Mike Evans. Those are my dogs. K9, Kenneth Walker got me here as well, although he's a little gimpy right now. Have not performed very well the last month. One of the 4 teams, the worst, technically, in terms of performance over the last 6 weeks. So, facing off against the Ghost of Bongtown. The Quinn Dynasty goes to Bongtown. It sounds like that there's a natural rivalry there. I don't know why. Don't need to go down that road. But, woody-doo, what you gonna do? Catch you soon. We'll talk about that matchup in a second. 2nd place team in these here rankings is Sasite, the Ghost of Bongtown. That's right. Andrew finished the year with a win. Moves to 11-4. True 2nd place team, just maybe a hair below Allen, if you ask me. Best players, Tyreek Hill. James Cook ended up finishing real strong. Doing battle with the dynasty. Which team is going to prevail? I don't know. We'll talk about it in a minute here. That 2nd place, best of luck to you, Andrew. Happy holidays and all the above to you and your family. We'll move on to the 1st place team. This team has been 1st place so many times. They've led the league in scoring more than anybody else. They led the league in scoring overall, which makes sense if you correlate the two. And it's Panther with the Brown. Master Cook. Master Cook finishes the year with a win. Congratulations, Allen. You've been crushing it. You got the juice. Allen has a pregnant wife. And I don't think we talk enough about that. What sort of power a man with a pregnant wife holds, in the realm of karma and what, energy, what's coming his way. You know what I mean? I have a child, healthy, beautiful, 15, 16-month-old, something. Quinny's doing great. Will be a future historian, politician, NCAA champion. But, then you got Andrew. Andrew's got a child, too, and that child's doing great. Going to be a future valedictorian, statesman, CEO. Of course, Darren's got 3 grandkids and 3 kids of his own. That's a total of 6 children from his loins, and they're all going to be, astronauts, mathematicians, and, stem cell researchers. So, but we look at Master Cook and Alan. He's a childless person. He's the only childless person in these playoffs. Will that factor in his favor? I think so. How? I don't know. I'm not wise enough. But I do know that, without question, unequivocally, the number 1 team in the regular season of the Fantasy Football, Not Your Mama's Volume 6, what have you, of course, it's our man Alan. So we give a little round of applause to round it all off. And I'll give a little quick breakdown primer of the 2 matchups. If you're still with me, obviously this is the longest video you're ever going to get from me. Matchup number 1, we got the Ghost of Bongtown versus the Quinn Dynasty. Just on paper, you go with the Ghost of Bongtown. That would be the odds-on favorite. Vegas would probably have them favored over the Quinn Dynasty by a little bit, by a margin there. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, McCaffrey, Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker on one side. Those are some stars. On the other side, of course, you have Tyreek Hill. He alone is worth several stars. Joe Mixon, Trevor Lawrence. This is actually a very evenly matched battle, I think, between home and away. If teams are playing on Christmas Day, there's a variability, a lot of variables going on in this here matchup. So we'll see what happens. Best of luck, of course, to Andrew and everything there. And may the better team prevail to go to the championship round. And, of course, the other matchup, we got ourselves number 1 seed Master Cook against O-side Vedigo. Big-time matchup here. Allen is where we all knew he would be. He's right where he's supposed to be. And, of course, then you have Darren, this scrappy team that's just kind of kept in there, hanging in, and then been kind of performing high. You got DK Metcalf, you got Derrick Henry, Matt Stafford coming into form. So Darren's got some pieces for sure. Now, Master Cook, I mean, it's the way it is. This guy's got Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud to choose from at quarterback. Either one of those guys can put up 30 to 50, 30 to 40 any week. He's got Travis Etienne, Raheem Mostert, CD Lamb, Debo, David Njoku, Saquon, the best kicker in the league, Brandon Aubrey. Statistically, the Cowboys kicker, he's number 1 at the position. So even in the kicking game, Allen has that nice safety net of having the best kicker in football. Never mind, his bench has Puka Nacua, Zach Moss, Michael Pittman, and James Conner. So who is Allen going to play? He's got so many options of riches to choose from. That could be the only thing I could see being Allen's undoing is having too many tools at his disposal. Every other team is actually pretty tight with their options. It gets a little thin in the britches for the other 3 seeds. Allen has a lot of versatility. So, there we go, baby. Hey, fantasy football playoffs begin at 5:15 p.m. on Thursday the 21st. Saints at Rams. I don't think anybody in these playoff matchups has anything to do with that game, unless, of course, Allen wants to play Puka Nacua. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. I'm not in his head. What can we say that hasn't already been said? This video is twice as long as it should have been. Take care of yourselves and each other.